Hey guys, so today I'm at a McLaren driving event and we are basically focusing on two cars, and this is one of them. It is of course the McLaren GT. McLaren GT is basically the grand tour of the McLaren range. It's regarded as the car that you can go touring in, that you can actually go driving in over longer distances, and maybe not as hardcore as some of the other cars available in their range. I say it's not hardcore, but it's still, you know, the V8 and still 610 horsepower, 620 PS, etc., 0 to 60 in about 3.2 seconds and a top speed of 202 miles per hour. So they're not exactly slouches, I can tell you that much. The thing about these cars is that they are meant to be more practical as well. So it's 420 litres of luggage space in the back and then 150 litres in the front, or the frunk if you like. Also supposed to be more comfortable, easier to get in and out of. They have more leather inside, so there's more, not so much wood, so not that kind of grand tour. Still very much a supercar. And I think that's the key thing about them. So let's have a quick look around it and then take it for a drive. So you can see it gets a very different front styling treatment. It's a little bit more higher, if you like, at the front here, a little bit more upright, if you like, compared to the other supercars. And of course the headlights get a very different treatment, unlike the sort of air scoop and light bars, if you like, of the other cars. And this one is a little bit more conventional, if you like. However, having said that, there is no mistaking the fact that this is a supercar and it has a supercar profile. And of course it gets the scissor doors, which I'll show you in a minute. That pretty sleek look about it. The open mesh grille in the back to let all the air out, so that is open. Obviously the real stance of the thing at the bottom. Again, more mesh grills back here, and then a pretty substantial amount of curviness to it. A little bit more conventional in terms of the door handle, because it's hidden on some of the others. And there you see the interior, which, like I said, is more leather lined and more comfortable. Before we get in, let me just show you that you can, actually I can open the front from here, and then I can open the rear from here. So let me just show you that. And as you can see, so they say you can basically put one set of golf clubs in there. And in fact, if you look at the indentation, it literally is designed for that purpose. Where's the engine? Well, the engine's under here. Apparently it doesn't get that hot, it's well insulated, and access to the engine of course is for servicing only. Pretty cool looking though, straight into the rear, into the front cabin from here. That's nice. And you can actually close this with a bit of assistance. Look at that. So walking around to the front, and you can see that there is a frunk, and the frunk is not, it's not on a catch, so you can just open it like that. And actually, that's pretty deep. Not bad at all. There's even a light down there. I think that's a power supply. Yes, it is. So that's handy. Okay, so getting into one of these, as ever, back end first, and then slide your legs in, and there you go. It's actually not too bad. I mean, like, the access is much better. As I said, in this car, it's greatly improved, and once you're inside, it's actually very, very comfortable indeed. Okay, so flat bottom steering wheel. A fixed instrument panel on this, entirely digital. This is of course digital. Down here you have two modes, two separated modes actually for the handling dynamics, if you like, on one side. So you get the comfort, sport and track, and then you get the comfort, sport and track for the engine and transmission, the drivetrain if you like. There's no park button. You get drive, neutral and reverse to get basically to stop the car. You can either put a neutral, hold it on the brake, or just press the stop button and that automatically activates the park brake. It's all pretty straightforward. The paddles are famously on a toggle kind of scenario, so they're basically, if I hit one, then the other one is automatically moving as well. And the rest of it is nice, quite comfortable and stuff like that. One thing I did find about this car is that the seats are very comfortable, very easy to power adjusted, so the buttons are down here, and it's very straightforward. Visibility out the car is not too bad either. Okay, so here we are in the McLaren GT. Now the irony is I'm at Millbrook Proving Ground, and I've been driving both this car and the much more ferocious 720S there. The only trouble is that Millbrook being Millbrook, and because a lot of manufacturers develop and test cars there, they're very strict in terms of what you can film and photograph and stuff like that. So in order to do an in-car drive segment of this car, they've very kindly allowed me to bring the car outside onto public roads so that I can just film a quick segment for you here and just talk about the car and what it's like on the go. So I'm at the moment in a little village, and there's lots of speed bumps, and I'm in comfort mode. And in comfort mode, it's really good. It damps the car really well. I've just gone over some pretty heavy speed bumps, and you know, I would say supple is the word I would use. It's very well damped, very well sorted. There's no jarring, there's no jitteriness. The thing about this car is that it's very solid, as you'd expect from a supercar. It is a rigid car, it's a very stable car, but it doesn't have any of the jitteriness that you get in a supercar, which is why it's a GT. The GT obviously is all about you know, being able to be a Jekyll and Hyde car. It's a car that you can take on the track and enjoy at high speed in nice roads, but at the same time do what I'm doing now, which is just driving through a village, taking it to work, going to the shops and stuff like that. So I've switched up into Sport, and straight away I can detect a slight difference, but very slight difference. To be honest, it's still perfectly comfortable over those speed bumps and stuff like that. Still not an issue. Wow. So the seats that are body hugging, but at the same time they're not uncomfortable. They hold you in position, but they're very comfortable. I mean, you could spend ages in it, and I suppose that's the idea, isn't it? I mean, being a touring car and stuff, that, you know, you could spend ages and be quite comfortable in this car driving around. So we're now on some nice bits of roads. Again, the ride, we're in sports mode still, and the ride is just, you know, a little bit firmer and a little bit jittier, but it's absolutely fine. One thing I would say about the steering is actually quite light. It's hydraulic steering, obviously, so there is feedback, there is feel, but it's light steering, it's not heavy steering, you know, so as you might have expected. But that's not to say that it's not satisfying. I think the weighting is just about right. Maybe I personally would prefer maybe a little bit more heft, but it's okay, it's not too bad at all. And the responsiveness is right there, so, you know, the direction changes are there straight away. I mean, it's, you know, you can't just go crazy with it, but at the same time, it's not too lively, it's not too crazy, it's not too energetic, you know, it knows how to behave itself, if you like, you know. So again, it goes back to, again, that thing of being the best of both worlds sort of thing, you know. It knows how to be sporty, but also how to be an everyday comfortable car as well. Performance wise, we had it on the Alpine circuit. We took it around the bowl, where, you know, you can do 75 and lift off your hands off the steering wheel because of the banked nature of the bowl. But we were doing about 100 miles an hour on there, and surprisingly little road noise. Quite a bit of wind noise still, but very little, and that's probably because the mirrors are sticking out and because of the aero and stuff, you can hear it. But the road roll was very well damped, so it wasn't obtrusive at all. And I can easily imagine doing long miles in the car without it being uncomfortable or anything like that, so it was actually pretty good. Again, now in the sports mode, the ride is doing okay. Still in auto mode. Just gonna turn around here. And again, you know, speed bumps and stuff. So I'm in basically a supermarket car park, if you like. Typical sort of scenario if you decide to take your McLaren shopping. And again, you know, it's a sort of car where it wouldn't be a problem. Now parking, I did reverse it into a parking slot earlier when I was just setting up the cameras, and it does have, not only does it have sensors all around, and that comes up on the screen here, but the screen in front of you also displays a camera as well. So on the actual instrument panel, so it actually shows you the view behind as well, so that's quite handy. So again, in that sense, they've really thought of everything. Quite comfortable in here. The climate control is working and all that, so temperature and everything is set. I'm not experiencing any kind of discomfort. Visibility all around is not too bad at all. Up front is not a problem. Normally at the rear it is, but as I've said, it's got a camera for reversing and stuff like that. But for driving, so far, it hasn't proved to be an issue whatsoever. Wow, so let's just, because the paddles are so nice to change, I'm just going to put it into manual mode. And of course they're on that sort of pivot thing where in the middle, so that each one responds, so you can actually change up from the left pedal even though the plus is on the right side, but if I push it forward I can change it up, and so I can just use the one pedal on one side if I want the whole time, and it will be absolutely fine. Brakes are very linear, not a problem at all, but again, nice turning, maybe like a slight hint of understeer at slow speeds, very bizarrely, but you know, good brakes, you know, again, not bitey, not grabby. Everything in this car is well judged. It's judged to not catch you out, even if I do that like mid-corner change down with the power on, but it's absolutely fine, you know. And this is ideal. This is actually good fun, absolutely solid, holds the road tight, and never really an issue at all. And it's one of those cars again where, like I said before, that you know, you can drive it around normal conditions, go shopping and work and stuff like that, but when you find a nice little road like that, you can just let rip, and actually it's the perfect companion for that. So overall then, when you think about the McLarens and my experience most recently with 720S back to back with this car, which is a much more hardcore car. I mean, that will do wheel spins up to 120 miles an hour in the icy conditions we had this morning. I can testify to that. That's a fact. That actually is true. This one won't do that. The 620R, which I found very hard to live with on a normal road, this one again, not that at all. The only issue I have with this car is it doesn't have that distinctive front end styling that the others now have with the light blades and stuff like that. So it's maybe less identifiable, a little bit more conventional than some of the other McLarens. But that's pretty much the only beef really that you could level at it. Otherwise, it's absolutely spot on. And it's a car that you can easily see yourself living with, and every now and then enjoying. So I gotta say, if you intend to buy a supercar and use it every day, this is the one to get. And I remember this is a successor, if you like. You know, well, it's not a successor, but it's in the same lineage. It's in the same family as I remember, you know, testing the 12C. And remember, you know, this car is in the same. I'm going to go back into comfort mode because of these speed bumps here. Part of the family. I mean, I remember testing the 12C way back, and I think the McLaren has come so far since those days, where this car feels solidly well put together, refined. Everything is well thought of. Everything is where you, well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's where you expect it to be. It's a supercar, so it has its foibles, it has its idiosyncrasies. You know, no park button, for example. So one thing you got to do is remember to press the red stop button when you come to a halt. That's what basically turns off the engine and locks the car. Automatic parking brake. Otherwise you have neutral, where you can then hold it, but then you better hold it on the brake because it can roll off. So it's that sort of thing. But overall, it's an easy car to live with, for sure. And I think that, you know, if it's up to me, if I was going to buy a McLaren, I think this is probably the one I would get, because it's a car that you can literally use every day, and it's got performance aplenty and dynamism aplenty when you want to enjoy it and exploit it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed my review of the McLaren GT. A big shout out and thanks to Jay Williams over at Air Technic, who are my top tier sponsors. Check them out for exhaust, brakes, suspension, and even body kits. Also, much appreciation to my tier 4 sponsors, Muhammad Ali Ahmed and Tom Conway Gordon. And of course, all of these other guys who have joined me on Patreon. Without their support, I can't be creating the content that I am doing. Perhaps you can join them. Head over to patreon.com/browncarguy. Even if you can't do that, make sure you're subscribing and sharing this channel, which of course is youtube.com/browncarguy. Also subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on all the socials. Just search for my hashtag, which of course is #BrownCarGuy.